Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Tanmay Rajvangshi, and in this video lecture I'm going to talk about structuralism. Structuralism, as the very name suggests, is about structure. But to understand structuralism properly, it is very important to understand in what sense the word structure is used in the context of structuralism. And let me tell you that the sense of the word structure as used in the context of structuralism is somewhat different from the sense of the word structure as we use it in our day-to-day language. Let me give you an example. If we examine the structure of a particular house to find out whether it is physically stable or aesthetically pleasing, I am engaged in no structuralist activity. However, I'm engaged in some sort of structuralist activity if I, you know, examine the structure of all the buildings or a number of buildings built at a particular place at a particular point of time to discover the underlying principles that govern their composition. I am also engaged in some sort of structuralist activity if I examine the structure of a particular house to demonstrate how it relates to the underlying principles that govern the composition of a number of houses or all the houses built at a particular place at a particular point of time. So, what I'm doing in the first example is that I'm generating a particular structural system. And what I'm doing in the second example is that I am I am trying to demonstrate that a particular thing belongs to a particular structural system of classification. The same thing holds true in the field of literary study. Let me give you an example. If I examine the structure of a particular short story to interpret its meaning or to determine whether or not it is a good piece of literary work, I am engaged in no structuralist activity. However, I'm engaged in some sort of structuralist activity if I examine the structure of a large number of short stories to discover the underlying principles that govern their composition. Say, for example, the order of the plot events, that is, the order in which the events in that short story occur, or the characterization, that is to say, the function each character performs in relation to the narrative as a whole. I'm also engaged in some kind of structuralist activity if I examine the structure of a particular short story to demonstrate how it relates to the underlying principles that govern the composition of all the short stories of that kind. So, as we see from this discussion, structuralism, unlike new criticism, is not concerned with a particular literary text, except in terms of what that literary text can tell us about the broader structural system, about the underlying principles that govern the composition of all the literary works of that kind. Now, Aristotle's The Poetics may serve as an useful example in this respect. Aristotle, in his Poetics, talks about the structure of an ideal tragedy, and he cites Oedipus the King by Sophocles as an ideal example of a tragedy. Now, as we see, what is the aim of structuralism and what is structuralism rather? Let me tell you, structuralism is not a, what to say, it's not a field of study. It is rather a method of systemizing human experience. It should be considered as a human science that systemize or seeks to systemize human experience and as such all human behavior and production. It is used not only in the field of literature, not only in the field of literary studies, but also in the field of sociology, anthropology, linguistics, and other fields of that kind. So this is the basic information to structuralism, which I think is very, very important for a proper understanding of structuralism. Thank you.